What are your responsibilities?
My title is Vice President, Large Projects, but it's a bit of a misnomer because I have responsibility for a regional area of our business, that's Sub-Saharan Africa, and get involved in the project development of large integrated projects that involve multiple internal partners and multiple external partners, usually for public utilities or major oil companies in the region.
What types of products do you buy from Stuart & Stevenson?
Well, I wouldn't say that we're one of their traditional customers. We are sometimes a competitor, but I think in competing with Stuart & Stevenson over past years, we found that they might be a good alliance partner, and this is the direction that ABB has taken with Stuart & Stevenson.
What are the most important reasons for choosing a supplier?
I think back to the past projects I've executed over the years or been involved with or packaged or sold, and think about some of the partners that we've had that have actually performed. We go back to those partners. We go back to those companies. We have certainly have an allegiance to those that perform and those that are good to work with, and where we don't have to go through learning curves getting to know and trust both the company or the people.
How do you develop your buying criteria when choosing products or services?
Most of the products and services are specified by our customers being the Exxon, the Shells, the Texacos, the Chevrons. If Stuart & Stevenson is on their approved vendors list, we automatically go to them as a standard vendor. A lot of the times, though, we don't. We try to take one step further and form an alliance where we actually will bid a project with Stuart & Stevenson, use their products that are already approved on the vendors list, and see if we can't get some competitive advantage by working together during the bid stage as opposed to having them bid a product, and if we win the project, we go to them and others.
What would be a truly great performance from Stuart & Stevenson?
Well, I have some experience with Stuart & Stevenson and know one of their strong points is their ability to deliver and probably out-deliver most of their competition. The company is sophisticated enough to understand the business and the risk associated with the marketplace, in that they actually are producing certain turbines and pieces of equipment on spec. That means they build them and put them on their shelf. As a EPC contractor, I can go to Stuart & Stevenson and buy that item off the shelf through our alliance arrangement and get a competitive advantage over the rest of the competition. So in short, it's their ability and understanding of the market and their willingness to build equipment on spec.
What is the criteria on which you base long-term relationships?
It was based on relationships. There were people inside of Stuart & Stevenson that I knew. The company, I knew generally what its capabilities were. In some cases, we had competed against each other in the past. So in picking an alliance partner, the market drove it, and it wasn't something that was driven by a brochure or an ad.
What is the criteria on which you base strategic alliances?
Stuart & Stevenson is a dominant player in the Sub-Saharan market. ABB is a dominant player in the Sub-Saharan market. It made sense for two dominant players to come together and see if we could bring value to each other and to our customer, and see if we could complement each other. Stuart Stevenson has a vast network of operation and maintenance contracts in place in Africa. We could benefit from their people in place as opposed to mobilizing our people in place. So those are just a few of the areas that are few of the criteria that we used in picking them.
What is the criteria on which you base joint ventures?
Well, joint ventures, it's a very misunderstood and very oftenly misused word. I interpret a joint venture as a legal association of two companies for a specific project. We don't normally use joint ventures for long-term arrangements. So joint venture isn't something that's been considered between ABB and Stuart and Stevenson, and the alliance seems to be a little more flexible and less legalized at this time.
What are the one or two things that Stuart and Stevenson could do to increase their value to you?
Well, again, let's go back and address the alliance. That's the value to ABB, and hopefully that would be the value to Stuart and Stevenson. Anything that they could do to enhance the alliance, working more efficiently, working quicker, cutting down on communication channels, levels of management, those are issues that would make an alliance work better. I guess I'd have to say that Stuart and Stevenson, if they accept the concept of an alliance, and if our definitions are fairly close as companies, then Stuart and Stevenson could benefit from an organization that addresses their alliances and allows multiple products and multiple Stuart and Stevenson divisions to cross division lines, cross product lines, and come to a customer through an alliance without the bureaucracy of dealing with different floors, different managers, different vice presidents, different product lines, different service capabilities, and requiring 8 or 9 decision points before I can package all of the products and services within our alliance. That might be something to consider.
If there was one thing that Stuart and Stevenson could do to improve their relationship with you, what would it be?
I'd have to say our relationship's good to excellent. I think the best thing we could do jointly to improve our relationship is to win a project. I think any management support, any pricing support to win the projects that we're bidding, one of the 8 projects would improve our relationship 100%.
Do you have a key factor with another supplier that you would like to see in Stuart and Stevenson?
Based on the needs of our alliance today, they're meeting or surpassing the needs.
If you knew more about products or services Stuart and Stevenson provides, would you buy them?
Well, I think the Stuart and Stevenson sales group did a good job orientating me to the products and services. I'm aware of what the other products and services are. Again, based on our customers in the region, the projects that we're bidding, I don't see a need for any of the other products, but I'm sure that if there was a need, we'd be able to access that need quickly.
What are the key business issues you are facing for the next year with which Stuart and Stevenson could help you?
We're bidding 3 to 4 major turnkey contracts a year in Africa in the range of $100 to $400 million each. Stuart and Stevenson's involvement in each of them can run anywhere from $20 to $120 million, and we need their focus, attention at the management level on these large projects and their organization's ability to support our bid efforts in these projects through our existing alliance agreement. And this help will require crossing product and service lines within Stuart and Stevenson.
In what areas do you think that Stuart and Stevenson needs improvement in order to better serve your company's goals?
It would be nice if I could walk into Stuart and Stevenson and show somebody at a management level that I have a large integrated EPC, engineering, procure, construct, turnkey project, which I'm bidding. The value is $383 million. It's in Lagos, Nigeria. It's with Shell Oil. Here's the bid package. Here's all the components of the project. You help me pull this together with your organization based on our alliance agreement, and let's figure out how we're going to bid this. As opposed to me taking that document to each department of Stuart and Stevenson and talking to them individually. Now, it's easy to say that and put a person in that position, but the person's got to have the background with the region or the projects or the customers or the multiple pieces of equipment, and also understand what Stuart and Stevenson has with their outside vendor alliances. One example is their alliance on their genset packages, where they have an alliance, an external alliance outside of our alliance with DMAG DeLaval. Knowing these alliances, that are the DMAG-D-Laval arrangement, is very important to our alliance working. That did not come out early in our association. It wasn't conveyed to us at the time we made the agreement, and it would lead a partner to believe how many other agreements are out there that might affect our relationship, and how are they managed and coordinated from a corporate point of view, and how do they fit into these large integrated projects, and who takes on that responsibility to pull that together within the organization. Maybe the organization doesn't want to try to pull it together. So I don't want to be suggesting something that that's not possible, but it would certainly benefit the large projects that they're attempting to bid with companies like ABB.
Stuart & Stevenson is embarking on a program which will restructure the way sales and service is handled internationally. Could you give them some suggestions?
International offices need to have a thorough understanding of what products Houston's got on the shelf. They need to have a thorough understanding of what various alliances, partnerships, or preferred vendor arrangements that their purchasing people or their manufacturing people have. How many LM6000s are on the shelf today available for delivery? How many are committed to other customers on a verbal basis? Can we commit an LM6000 tomorrow without having to call Houston? Can we talk about a delivery in 14 months without having to call Houston? What are some of the criteria that the field people can convey to their customers in the field? Do they have the authority to make certain commitments? And in having the authority, they need the knowledge of what they've got to commit on. And I think there's a breakdown in both the authority issue and the information line to the field offices. I've spent 4.5 months in Lagos, Nigeria, trying to put together a major project with Stuart & Stevenson, which is one of the 5 partners, and have found that the dissemination of some of the key information is not getting out to the field. It requires daily, if not multiple calls every day back to Houston to get clarification. And I think delegation and flow of information to the field would certainly enhance their abilities to close quicker, and would certainly convey a more credible image to the customers.